Noon session, we'll have two startup pitches. The first one, let's welcome Nguyen from Elle Systems.
Hi, I'm Eric from Elle Systems, and I'm here to talk to you about 3 problems. The first is that your computer is difficult to use notoriously. The second is that your computer doesn't work towards your needs. Imagine the amount of times you've had to look through multiple tutorials just to get your computer to work. And the third is that your computer does not carry your environment wherever you go. Actually, I realize I can take off this mask, can't I? So, as we were building our technology, we realized that this idea has been researched and written about 30 years before we even started. And let me tell you about a man, Mark Weiser. There we are. So Mark Weiser was a CTO of Xerox PARC, and he coined the phrase and the technology of ubiquitous computing. Ubiquitous computing has 3 important parts. The first is COM technology. Now, COM technology states that users should be able to connect with their device and be able to feel a natural feel when they're using it. The second is ambient intelligence. It's the idea that your computer should work for you. It's the idea that your computer should be able to understand your needs at all times. And the last is ubiquitous computing. And a really good way to explain ubiquitous computing is a quote from Mark Weiser's seminal paper, The Computer for the 21st Century. Mark Weiser wrote that ubiquitous computing will help with the problem of information overload. There's more information available at our fingertips during a walk in the woods than in any computer system. Yet people find a walk among the trees relaxing and computers frustrating. Machines that fit the human environment, instead of forcing humans to enter theirs, will make using a computer as simple as taking a walk in the woods. And at Elle Systems, we've found the solution. Our solution is an environmental system on your computer, sitting on your OS, that utilizes COM technology, that feels natural for you to use, that uses ambient intelligence to understand your needs, your workflows, your ideas, and your contexts to work for you. And your technology and your environments should follow you everywhere you go, between your devices, between any new devices that you get, and more importantly, to be able to share with the people around you. What we do is we connect people through their technology by bringing them closer to their devices. And how we do it is by bringing computer science and biology together. And so, to talk more about that, let me introduce you to our CEO and founder, Skyyler Siejko.
Thank you. So I founded Elle because I wanted to understand the connection that nature had to computers. It's one of those things where you don't realize how much nature actually emulates the computer systems that we're building today. And I wanted to make it apparent that we can use DNA and use all the structures of nature, natural processing, to start building a better and more efficient ecosystem for computers and devices. Mark Weiser, he was the grandfather of ubiquitous computing. And what we were able to do is realize that he knew the what, the where, the when, and the why. But I'm proud to announce that we've found out how to do the how. How do we generate this context for people to use for the computers? And we do that using an environmental system, as Eric pointed out. The environmental system sits on top of your operating system as embedded into it that allows it to grow dynamically with you. adjusting to your needs and your wants, and also at the same time helping others with their computer needs. We see this going into manufacturing. We see this going into actual DNA genetic makeups for labs and laboratories. DNA is a fundamental data type that we've created that is universally used on all operating systems and all other systems. It's generic enough to be put in any system. One of the main problems with today is this idea of an AI or machine learning. It really, 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 really bothers me how much people say the word AI as if it's something special. It's just machine learning, which is great. It's a great technology and it needs to be utilized. But I have a problem. Every company today goes out and they build their system and they always say that they have an AI and they build it custom proprietary to themselves. Well, I really don't understand that because for me, it's like the whole point of AI is to learn from its environment. Yet each one is separated. So our solution to that is at Elle is we basically use Elle as a playground and think of AIs as children in that playground. When a child enters a playground, what they do is they're entering an implicit understanding of the rule set. What we have built inside of Elle is we've built the idea that these children go into the playground, Elle, and they can communicate with each other using their own machine learning to build a set of rules for all other AIs in the future. This is going to be an amazing new technology that is fundamental to the way that we use computers around us. Imagine being at a coffee shop and talking to somebody, and at the same time, Elle in the background is creating a context of DNA. So the next time you go and meet that person, Elle pings you and tells you, this is what you were doing before. This is who you're talking to. Imagine being able to go to your computer and automatically be able to see the things that you need at that moment. We've built a brand new type of system that is functionally foundational to the next generation of computing. Quantum computing, as of right now, is something that is just an idea, but we know it's coming. It's definitely coming. And DNA is a future-proof data type that works seamlessly, and when I say seamlessly, I really mean it, with future qubit operating systems. In fact, Elle could eventually become that operating system for the future. I see Elle as an OS for life. An OS that helps you and helps others around you by allowing Elle to grow and utilize non-user specific data. That's one of the best points of Elle, is that it's not user specific. So when you build DNA and give it to somebody else, they can emulate that DNA on their operating system. In fact, one of the examples that I give for that is a teacher teaching a class, wanting to teach them over Zoom or something. All they have to do is give them a .dna file, they download it, and the system automatically reads that DNA and allows the DNA to generate all the apps and all the infrastructure to help with that tutorial. This is instantaneous. This isn't like something that you have to set up. Imagine playing a game and wanting to put a mod on the game, modification. You have to go through 8 steps just to do that. Elle, you just simply download the DNA, and Elle recognizes that DNA and is able to modify that game the way that you intended. This is a brand new type of computing. You drop a DNA file in any folder structure, and all of a sudden you're creating context. And that's what we solved. The problem is Weiser had this really good idea. He had the idea that we could use ubiquitous computing, but he didn't see it through. Unfortunately, he died in 1999. I'm here to announce that we have picked up his research, and we just got our provisional patent in yesterday, actually. We're pretty excited about it, and we're building this environmental system. This will be the future of technology because we need to think about qubit. That's one thing that all these AIs don't have built, is they're all binary. What happens when we get to qubit? So this type of technology is something that's going to be useful for every type of technology in the future. And with that, I would like to introduce you to a video that is something that we really believe in. Thank you.
We have smartphones. We have smart TVs. But what makes them smart? They're interactive. They opened up possibilities that we could barely even imagine 2 decades ago. But do they know who we are? Do they know what we need? That's where Elle comes in. Elle is not just another smart device. It's a growing and changing ecosystem that connects us all. Every user contributes by interacting with the ecosystem they helped create, and they do that with strands. Just like our DNA is responsible for the diversifying of our species, Elle strands will be responsible for the next generation of computing. By creating their own unique OS strands, users can copy, share, and evolve a DNA for computing. So our question is, if a smartphone rings in the forest, but there is no one there to hear it, does it make a sound? Elle, we have a strand for that.